Tonight, I'm opening files related to a journey most of us are on, but very few of us ever finish. The journey through the 5 levels of financial freedom. These accounts are not theory, not guesses. They are documented stories, raw, practical, and real. You'll see the exact steps I took, the mistakes that trapped me at certain levels, and the lessons that helped me move forward. Because here's the truth, most people never get past level 2, and I'll show you exactly why. Before we begin, make sure you're subscribed to Profit with A and hit the notification bell. What we uncover here could be the blueprint for your own hustle, and you don't want to miss the files we open next. File Profit 501, Level 1, Survival Money. It was 2016. I was in a cramped apartment with a mattress on the floor, an old laptop that whined every time the fan kicked in, and a bank account that never seemed to stay above zero. Rent, electricity, food, those were the only priorities. Everything else felt like a luxury. I called it survival mode. And survival mode is level 1 of financial freedom. The level where money isn't about dreams or investments, it's about staying alive. One night, I stared at a $200 bill notice taped to my door. My stomach sank. I realized I couldn't ignore it anymore. That night, I opened my laptop, typed, "How to make money online," and scrolled through page after page of half-promises. But one thing stuck. It wasn't glamorous. It wasn't sexy. It was a gig site offering $5 tasks. Fiverr. That was my first door. My first gig. Writing 300-word product descriptions for people I'd never meet. The pay was $5, minus fees. Less than a meal. But when I hit publish, I waited days, nothing. When the first order finally came in, it was midnight. I stayed up writing on that noisy laptop, praying it wouldn't crash. I rewrote it twice because I was terrified the client would reject me. And even when they gave me 5 stars, the payment took days to clear. It didn't feel like freedom. It felt like crawling. But I kept going. The real win wasn't the $4. It was the notification itself, the proof that money could appear from effort that didn't require me clocking into a 9 to 5. I realized, level 1 isn't about the amount. It's about control. That was the first taste of earning money outside survival wages. Within months, I was pulling an extra $50 to $100 a week. Not glamorous, not enough to escape survival mode, but enough to keep the lights on when things got tight. And that's what level 1 is, proving you can generate income, however small, on your own terms. At Profit with A, we classify this as the door cracked open. Not full freedom, but the realization that money can flow from more than one source. But survival money is only the beginning. Most people stop there. They prove the door exists but never step through it. That's where level 2 comes in, and where most people get stuck. File Profit 502, Level 2, Stability Money. By 2018, I wasn't just taking $5 gigs. I had leveled up to freelance clients paying me $50, sometimes $100, for blog posts. My rent wasn't late anymore. Groceries didn't feel like a gamble. I could finally breathe. This was level 2, stability money. The level where you're no longer fighting for survival, but you're still on shaky ground. It started when one of my Fiverr clients messaged me privately. Would you take on bigger projects off the platform? That single message pushed me into freelancing outside Fiverr. Suddenly, I had a client who wanted weekly work. predictable, reliable. Something I could plan around. At first, it felt like freedom. But then reality hit. I was saying yes to everything. My days blurred into late nights, chasing deadlines, chugging cheap coffee, and editing until my eyes stung. I wasn't just a freelancer. I was a hamster on a wheel, working constantly just to keep stability. And every missed deadline meant panic, because stability is fragile. One bad month, and you're back in survival mode. The turning point was a single invoice. I remember hitting send on a $600 invoice to a client. It was more money than I'd ever made in one shot. That was stability money. Enough to cover rent, bills, and even stash a little aside. But the high wore off when I realized every dollar was tied to hours worked. If I stopped, the money stopped. That's the invisible cage of level 2. I stayed here for a long time. Longer than I should have. Stability feels safe, but it's a trap. You get so comfortable covering your expenses that you forget this isn't real freedom. It's just security with strings attached. At Profit with A, we classify this as the stability trap. Enough to breathe, but never enough to stop running. And this is why most people never leave level 2. Stability feels like success, but it's only the second rung of the ladder. The real climb begins when you figure out how to move past trading time for money. That's level 3. File Profit 503, Level 3, Freedom of Choice Money. It was 2020. By then, I wasn't just freelancing. I had steady clients, enough to cover my bills, and even a small emergency cushion in the bank. But something felt off. I was still chained to the clock. If I stopped writing, the money stopped flowing. Level 3 is what I call freedom of choice money. The level where you can finally say no without the whole system collapsing. One morning, I woke up to 3 client emails, each asking for rush work, all due within 48 hours. My chest tightened. I had to choose, keep saying yes, or finally start filtering out what wasn't worth my time. That's when I raised my rates. Quietly, nervously. From $50 a post to $150. I thought I'd lose them all. At first, it was terrifying. A few clients disappeared overnight. But then, the strangest thing happened, the serious ones stayed. Suddenly, I was making the same money, but working fewer hours. That was the seed of level 3. The moment I realized money could be about leverage, not just hustle. Still, the fear never left. Every time I turned down a low-paying gig, I felt a pang. What if the work dries up? What if I can't replace it? The doubt followed me like a shadow. One evening, I checked my account and saw that with just 2 high-paying clients, I had made the same in a week as I used to make in a month at level 1. That was freedom of choice. I wasn't rich. I wasn't even close to wealthy. But I wasn't desperate anymore. I could walk away from bad deals. I could say no. That felt like breathing for the first time. The truth about level 3. It's intoxicating. You finally taste autonomy. But here's the catch, you're still working for money, even if it's better money. This is where many people stall, because choice feels like freedom, but it's not the finish line. At Profit with A, we classify this as the leverage point. The moment you realize value isn't just about hours, it's about what you bring to the table. But choice money, while powerful, is still dependent on your time and energy. Real freedom comes when the money keeps flowing whether you're at the desk or not. That's level 4. File Profit 504, Level 4, Passive Flow Money. By 2021, I'd gotten smarter. I wasn't just selling time anymore, I was building assets. Ebooks, courses, even small websites with affiliate links. Nothing massive, nothing viral. Just little digital machines quietly working in the background. Level 4 is passive flow money. The level where your income isn't tied to the hours you put in today. It began with a simple PDF guide. I spent 2 weeks creating it, a blueprint for beginners on how to start freelancing. I priced it at $9 and put it up on Gumroad. Honestly, I didn't expect much. Then one morning, I checked my email. You made a sale. Someone I'd never met, from a country I'd never been to, had bought my guide while I was asleep. That was the moment everything shifted. But here's the part no one tells you: passive income isn't truly passive at the start. I had to learn marketing, emails, SEO, landing pages. I stayed up late tweaking sales copy, spent hours doubting if anyone cared about what I made. Most weeks, the sales were tiny, $30 here, $50 there. But they were consistent. A trickle that never came from a direct trade of time. The real breakthrough came months later. I woke up, rolled over to check my phone, and saw 5 sales in one night. $45 earned while I slept. Not much, but the feeling was everything. That's level 4. Money detached from time. Even if the flow is small, the proof changes you forever. I still freelanced. I still had clients. But now, there was a second engine running quietly in the background. That engine meant I could take a day off and not panic. Level 4 isn't instant wealth. It's the first time you see income as a system, not just effort. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. At Profit with A, we classify this as the system spark. The first time your money works harder than you do, even if just for a night. But passive flow isn't the final destination. There's still one more level. The level where your systems not only support you, they outgrow you. That's level 5, and it changes everything. File Profit 505, Level 5, Wealth Freedom Money. By late 2022, something had shifted. The small websites I'd built were earning consistent affiliate checks. My digital products trickled steady sales. I still had clients, but for the first time, I didn't need them. Level 5 is what I call wealth freedom money. The level where your systems and assets generate enough income that you're no longer working for money, money is working for you. It started with reinvestment. Instead of spending extra cash on lifestyle upgrades, I funneled it into building more assets, outsourcing content, buying small websites, running ads to scale sales. I remember transferring $500 into an account just to hire freelancers to write articles for me. It felt risky, because that was rent money just a year ago. But that decision planted seeds. At first, growth was slow. One site earned $50 a month. Another made nothing for weeks. I kept tweaking, kept investing. Some projects failed outright. Others crawled forward inch by inch. There were nights when I stared at spreadsheets wondering if I'd wasted years chasing the idea of financial freedom. Wealth doesn't feel certain at the start, it feels like juggling too many fragile plates, praying none of them shatter. The breakthrough came one morning when I added up my income streams: freelance work, affiliate sites, digital products, and a small dividend-paying investment account. Together, they passed my monthly expenses. That was the moment I realized I could step away, and life wouldn't collapse. That was level 5. Here's the truth about level 5, it's not about Lamborghinis or yachts. It's not a finish line, it's a foundation. Wealth freedom means options. You can choose to work. You can choose to stop. You can focus on bigger goals, or simply rest without guilt. But the catch is this: level 5 doesn't come from luck. It comes from climbing each rung: survival, stability, choice, passive flow, before you finally reach freedom. At Profit with A, we classify this as the quiet arrival. Wealth freedom isn't loud. It's not a viral moment. It's the calm realization that money is no longer your master. And with that, the files on all 5 levels are open. But the bigger question is, where are you on the ladder? These files tell the same truth: financial freedom isn't built overnight. It's a staircase, 5 levels high. Level 1, survival money, the proof you can earn outside a paycheck. Level 2, stability money, the comfort that keeps most people stuck. Level 3, freedom of choice, the power to say no. Level 4, passive flow, the spark of systems working for you. Level 5, wealth freedom, the point where money sustains itself, and you finally have options. Most people stall at level 2, thinking stability is success. But real freedom is climbing further, step by step, with consistency, patience, and courage. Don't wait for perfect conditions. Start where you are, with what you have. The first win, no matter how small, is proof that the door is open. If you've started your own hustle, drop your story in the comments. I might feature it in a future Profit log. Subscribe to Profit with A, hit the notification bell, and don't miss the next file we open. This has been a productive one from Profit with A. Until next time, keep hustling.